ahead.
To get it into y equals mx plus b form, I move to 6 over, so on both sides. So I get negative 3y is less than negative 6x plus 9. And divided each side by negative 3. And I switched the signs with I think you switch it when you divide, so I'm not sure. And then I got y is greater than 2x times 3.
Awesome. Cody, tell us, do you agree or disagree?
I disagree because I can swap make 6 a negative.
Ooh, so you've got like negative 2x minus 3. Okay. Which one do y'all agree with?
I agree with you.
Yeah, whenever you move sides, you also change signs. If you change sides, you change signs. Whenever you're adding and subtracting. If you're multiplying or dividing, you just multiply or divide by whatever the number is you need to multiply or divide by. Okay. What questions do you have on the bell ringer? Okay. All right. Tomorrow you will not be in class. So tomorrow, if you would write on the bell ringer, not in class. And then Friday we don't have school, so Friday you can put no school. And then make sure your name's on your bell ringer sheet, pass it to the front row, pass it to the right. Also, if you need to turn in 6.1 practice, your work from Big Ideas, please get that out. Make sure your name's on it, pass it to the front, and front row, pass it to the right. What questions do you have for me on graphing inequalities?
Do you only move the sign and get a different direction if you divide by a negative?
If you divide or multiply by a negative, which we really will only be dividing by a negative. So that's the only time you flip it. Any other time you would flip it would be like if you got this and you wanted to flip it or the whole thing around and do y is greater than 2x plus 3, but you shouldn't have anything like that. Okay, good question.
The practices are a little bit easier than the other ones.
Yes, yeah.
There's like less steps that you have less of the.
Yeah, systems of equations. In Algebra 1, I would say systems of equations is probably one of the most time-consuming. Until we get to solving quadratic equations, then that'll probably be our next chapter is quadratics. So those have some long problems, but usually systems of equations and usually substitution is the longest. All right, so today you're going to take a quiz over graphing inequalities. It's a really short lesson in which this chapter is a really short chapter because we're going to do graphing inequalities. And then next week, we're going to cover systems of inequalities. And the only way to solve a system of inequalities is to graph it. And then after next week, then I'll probably do a week of absolute value equations, just graphing those so that way you can see absolute value equation graphs. I know we've discussed them at the beginning of the year, but actually going through and graphing them. And then we'll have our chapter 6 test. So I don't expect this chapter to take long at all. We might have 2 more weeks of this chapter. So 2 weeks from now, you'll have your chapter 6 test. And then we'll move on to quadratics. Okay. Now, on your quiz, I did not make this quiz. I like it. However, I do not like the wording of the top part because it makes it sound like it's multiple choice. It says, which of the following points are solutions to each inequality? And there's numbers 1 and 2, and for each one there's A and B. So it makes it sound like you need to circle either A or B. Okay, but that's not the case. What this should read is, determine if the following points are solutions to each inequality. So for number 1, you need to determine if point A is a solution, and then you need to determine if point B is a solution. And then for number 2, you need to determine if point A is a solution, and then determine if point B is a solution. So it's like 4 problems there, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I would've thought to like circle it or
Yeah.
see which one it was.
Yeah, the way it's worded, every year, people think, they're like, okay, I just need to circle A or B. And it's not the case. You just determine if each one's a solution. So I don't like the way that's worded. And then numbers 3 through 11, you graph each inequality and shade the, all the corresponding parts, do what you're supposed to do. I changed number 9. It was a fraction, and I made it a whole number. That's why it looks differently. If I think I made enough copies. If I did not, and on number 9, if you see it says x is less than 3/2, let me know on number 9 if it's a fraction, and I will tell you what to write there. Remember, during the quiz, absolutely no talking. When you're finished, turn your quiz in to me, and then you're done for the day. I did have us scheduled to take notes, but we're not going to. We're going to wait till next week to start that. Brandon, will you scoot back a seat, please? Hunter, will you scoot up a seat, please? Ariana, will you move to number 18, please? Cheyenne, will you move back a seat, please?
What, did you say this one? You want 18? Oh,
18. Hayden, can I get you to move to this back desk, please? And Shane, can I get you to come sit back here at this table, please? Yep, that's right. Now, on your quiz, if you would like to use colored pencils or markers, I'm completely okay with that. I'm also okay if you just use a pencil. And make sure I can tell if your line is solid or dashed. Make sure your contact's in the board, please. I'm also giving you changes to give to her. Also, if you decide you need a ruler, you're more than welcome to get up and get your ruler.